Black Ops 7 Season 1 update drops later this week, and with it, we have a large number of maps, modes, battle pass content, and more, but I wanted to take some time today to talk about weaponry. While it's not a historically large offering from the Black Ops franchise with the Season 1 weapons coming, it's not too far off. This season, we'll see a bit of everything when it comes to weaponry, spread pretty evenly across the season, so some at launch, some in season, some at events. But today we're running down what you need to know about each of these. So drop your thoughts as we go along, drop a like if you enjoy the video, and make sure to subscribe to stay updated with all things Black Ops 7 and other FPS content here on the channel. I'd love to have in the community, but for now, let's get into it. First, let's start out with the weapons that will be available right at launch here through the Battle Pass. We're gonna have the Camo 7 SMG and the Maddox RFB rifle. The Camo 7 is an SMG on the page 3 rewards here for this, being a full auto SMG with excellent mobility and a fast fire rate, but shorter range capabilities and moderate recoil. It says what this lacks in punch and makes up for in speed and mobility. The fast firing, quick handling SMG is perfect for looking to get into the thick of things. Peppering enemies with hip fire up close or aiming down sights for more distant foes, the weapon's clean iron sights make it easy to acquire and track moving targets. This mimicking an MP7 of sorts, this is looking to be that run and gunner's go-to weapon. Now, this will come along with the Akimbo Prestige attachment, so once you end up maxing this weapon out to its max level of 39, you'll have the option to, of course, then restart that whole progress, lock all your weapons save for one, because it will give you a permanent unlock token for those attachments, and then you'll end up getting the stock dual-wield Akimbo attachment to go along with it, where that will let you swap between holding one or two SMGs, where the damage range and hipfire spread will suffer a slight penalty, but it's overcome by the fact that you have two of them now at your hands. And again, that will be a page 3 reward for your battle pass. Next, we have the Maddox RFB, a returning rifle from Black Ops 4, coming as a page 6 reward. This is a full auto assault rifle with fast fire rate and a large pool of ammo, and comes along with manageable recoil, where its capabilities really begin to shine as you level up the weapon and gain access to attachments like the extended mag, but it'll be great for long range precision or snappy mid-range play. This one was a favorite of mine back in Black Ops 4, so personally very much so looking forward to this returning in Black Ops 7. But again, once you end up getting to level 43, you can end up choosing to prestige the weapon and do it all over again, to which you'll end up getting the 13-inch burst barrel for this, which will offer an increased rate of fire for every second bullet and granting a boost in firepower at the expense of some slight accuracy loss. Nothing too major, but something that will, again, hopefully offer better benefits elsewhere to make that worth the risk. That, once again, coming as a page 6 reward for the battle pass. But okay, those are two weapons that you'll have right up front immediately with the launch of Season 1. But beyond that, we're going to see a couple introduced with weekly challenges. The weekly challenge system is coming back in Black Ops 7, akin to what we saw with Modern Warfare 3 2 years ago now at this point, where you'll have a handful of different challenges across the various modes of endgame, multiplayer, zombies, and then Warzone that you can complete, that once you complete a certain amount, you'll end up unlocking that week's sort of mastery reward. The mastery reward for week 1 will be the ballistic knife. This being the spring action knife launcher that we've seen in the past, with high melee damage and can fire retrievable blades as projectiles. This being a staple in some Black Ops games, but allows you again to pull off those ranged knife kills, but also offering a bit more in regards to that straight up melee attack that you have. This will not have a Prestige Master attachment because, well, it's a melee weapon, so you don't have any attachments associated with it to begin with. But those are your weapons you have at launch. Things you can technically acquire on day 1. Completing those challenges and the weekly challenges, grinding through some of your battle pass, you can end up getting that stuff rather quickly. But other things are a little bit more time gated here. There are going to be a handful of weapons that you cannot get on day 1, like the Sokol 545. This being a new LMG that will be an event reward. This being a full auto light machine gun that can switch on demand between slower fire rate with high accuracy and range, or a faster fire rate with higher damage and recoil. It's entirely up to you, a cool little deviation in that standard, what you'd expect from an LMG. This will come along with a rapid fire burst mod that will convert this to a 6-round burst weapon, giving you a chance to recenter the weapon before unloading more rounds, with massively improved fire rate offset by reduced damage and range. Though it does improve recoil control and mobility, so it's going to be one of those things that's kind of a trade-off that may be good for you, maybe not. It really comes down to subjective playstyles. Next, we have the special weapon of the NX Ravager in season. This is going to be another event reward. This will launch high damage bolt projectiles and can be configured to fire explosive bolts that detonate a short time after impact. This just being your standard crossbow that you'll have seen a couple of times in the last couple of years within the Black Ops games, but it also does come along with a tri-bolt prestige attachment, where this will improve your fire rate, allowing your operator to load in at 3 bolts at a time for quick follow-up shots that help mitigate that time spent reloading. So cool to have that on offer as well. Beyond that, you'll see the Hawker HX in season, a new sniper rifle that is meant to be akin to the Ballista from Black Ops 2, a bolt-action sniper rifle with faster handling and mobility and higher recoil control and flinch. But again, was a huge fan favorite in Black Ops 2. Kind of fingers crossed, personally speaking, that the Ballista reigns supreme again through the Hawker HX in this game, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, if you do rank it up all 38 levels, you will, of course, have that prestige attachment. However, this one, they're a little bit more vague on. They didn't give some specific details, but we know that we're going to have a classified barrel of sorts here, where they said the initial testing for this attachment is classified, but it appears the prestige attachment allows for tac stance sniper builds. So offering up a bit more mobility in that sense, and perhaps a different way to approach some of your gunfights. And finally, the last weapon we'll see in season is again an event reward. So that's 4 event rewards we have right there in season. Pretty busy season 1, it seems like at that point, but we'll have the Sturmwolf 45. This being akin to some classics we've seen in Call of Duty, but it's a full auto SMG with very low recoil, a good headshot damage, but lower handling, mobility, and range coming along with it. So some trade-offs there that may or may not be good depending on your playstyle. But again, if you go the 38 levels to prestige this, you'll of course get one more classified prestige attachment here throughout season 1, where it's a magazine. Don't know specifics of the name or anything like that, but they said this will end up granting more recoil and power as a magazine attachment. So interesting to see how that will work out. But those are your weapons you'll see both, again, at the start of the season and in season in some capacity, whether it be through weekly challenges or the various number of events we'll see throughout season 1. You're going to have a lot to unlock and a lot to earn. But that's not the only stuff that we'll see in regards to weapons, because as with Black Ops 6, as with Modern Warfare 3, those aftermarket parts, those special weapon attachments, those are now continuing with Black Ops 7 as well, where we're going to see new weapon attachments also coming into the fold with the Season 1 update. In the launch window, you'll end up having a weekly challenge reward. So we saw that week 1 is going to be that ballistic knife as the overall reward for week 1. This is likely, if I'm taking a guess, a week 2 challenge, that it's the launch window, but not necessarily the launch itself. And it's another weekly challenge, but the Akita Scorchlink Akimbo attachment will be something that comes as a weekly challenge reward. Completing, again, theoretically, let's say week 2's X amount of challenges you need to get full 100% completion on it, you'll end up earning the Akimbo attachment for this, where you can wield 2 full auto shotguns. So like, that's going to be pretty crazy. The Redwell Shade X suppressor is going to be something in season that is, again, another weekly challenge reward, where this is going to be an operator mod muzzle for every type of weapon, basically. Assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, LMGs, marksmen, snipers, and pistols. The only thing you're really missing out on is, of course, those launchers, but this will suppress your weapon while simultaneously improving vertical and horizontal recoil control at a slight cost of damage range and bullet velocity. So if you are okay with taking a bit of speed of how long that bullet takes to get to your target, this will be something that's probably pretty beneficial to you. So kind of like a halfway point between the Colossus and monolithic suppressors we've seen in the past, but that'll be coming as a weekly reward. Now, additional weekly rewards that have not really been thrown into the mix here in terms of the specifics just yet, but we do know there are 4 additional weekly challenge rewards coming. We have the Coda 9 Adaptive Discharge mod, the AK-27 Battle Scar conversion, the M8A1 Full Auto conversion, and the MPC-25 Contra Bloom Laser. Those will all be rewards here that we see throughout Season 1 as well, so every single week we'll have a new attachment to unlock, it seems, again, minus week 1, and then presumably week 8 being reserved for the mastery camos of sorts. But a lot of stuff when it comes to weaponry that is brand new and weapon altering additions with Season 1. So with the weapons and the weapon attachments out of the way, there's actually still a little bit more I want to talk about with weapons in particular for Season 1, because Season 1 opens up the post-launch possibilities for skipping weapons in your camo grinds. This year, it is no surprise we have 4 major weapon camo grinds. You have Endgame, Multiplayer, Zombies, and then with Season 1, Warzone. However, one cool thing about Season 1 and beyond with every single game in recent years is that every single weapon introduced makes the grind a little bit easier for you. So for those of you that have done this before, this is merely a refresher. For those that have not, and this may be brand new to you, the one cool thing about the timing of completing your challenges for weapon camos with Season 1 and beyond is that just a short bit of time after launch, Season 1 makes the grind exponentially easier. Max Camo challenges only take into consideration how many of the classification masteries you have, not the number of classifications that you master. What I mean by this is that whenever you end up getting to Tempest Camo, that final challenge we have before we end up getting to Singularity, because this year you don't have individual Singularity Camo challenges, you just get Singularity by completing 30 weapons Tempest. The Tempest challenges require classification or Arclight camos to end up getting to the credit where you can end up working towards those. You need 30 weapons Arclight before you can start working on Tempest, and then of course Tempest leading to Singularity. But what I mean by it doesn't matter the number of classifications that you master is that, let's say you want to skip launchers this year. I'd argue in MP that those are the most annoying and kind of tedious of challenges, especially when you consider those double kills with the Arc launcher. But let's say you want to skip the launchers. You actually can with Season 1 and beyond in their entirety. All you have to do is get enough weapons, Shattered Gold, and then Arclight and Tempest to make up for those 2 launchers that you'd eventually be skipping out on. The only prerequisite with this kind of thing is you have to get 2 additional weapons, Arclight and then Tempest, to earn Singularity in place of those launchers. Same goes with any of the other mode camos you're working towards, Endgame, Zombies, and Warzone. So in order to skip them in full, the category itself, let's take the Season 1 Battle Pass weapons. You need to already have or be progressing towards Arclight and Tempest rifles and Arclight and Tempest SMGs to skip Arclight and Tempest launchers. So if you have both of those classifications already mastered in their challenges, throwing another one in on each takes away one of those launchers by comparison. You're just trading a new weapon for an existing one. However, you cannot just replace one launcher with one rifle, because the game would then recognize that you don't have enough Arclight camos done. It would leave you at 29, whereas you need the 30 to progress to Tempest. So you'd need to completely swap out both of those weapons in the launcher category, with both the rifles and SMGs being mastered in their categories. So come the end of Season 1, we'll have a rifle, SMG, LMG, sniper, special, and melee that, technically speaking, that special is going to count towards your melee and launcher category, and your melees will count as another melee. But by the end of Season 1, you could skip the entire challenge sets for both melees and launchers, since seasonal weapons are additive and the number of completed weapons per category does not change from launch. So you could skip the 2 required melees and 2 required launchers because you only need 30 of those weapons total. So maybe you want to skip snipers, you could do that too. Maybe you want to skip shotguns, you could do that as well by the end of Season 1 if you don't care about a different category over others. Essentially, you just gain a ton of options in the camo grind for seasonal weapons and how they're introduced. So just know that going into Season 1, that with these number of weapons coming throughout Season 1, we do have a lot of options that make the camo grind even easier than I kind of personally think this year is one of the easiest years we have for camo grinds. But that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts down below. What are you looking forward to in relation to the weapon category for Black Ops 7? Any particular weapon you're looking to get your hands on? Anything you're hoping to do for maybe skipping weapon camos? Let me know. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 7 and even more FPS content. I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.